welcome back everyone. I hope you enjoyed part 1 of our discussion on the poem Colonization in Reverse. In part 1, we explored the background, context of the poem along with its significance on the post-colonial literature. Now, in part 2, we will continue our journey by diving deeper into the major themes of the poem and then exploring the literary device that Louise Banet skillfully employs to convey her message. Let's move to the thematic analysis. Louis Banet, in Colonization in Reverse, humorously depicts Caribbean migration to Britain as a reversal of colonial power, exploring themes of resistance, identity, labor, and diaspora. The poem highlights both migrant struggles and agency. Number 1. Resistance to empire through language. The most prevalent theme in Louis Banet Colonization in Reverse is resistance to empire, achieved primarily through her deliberate use of language. By writing in Jamaican patois and adopting a conversational oral tone, Banet subverts the authority of standard English and traditional poetic forms, legitimizing Caribbean culture own terms. But me wondering how them going stand colonizing in reverse not only reimagines migration as symbolic resistance, but also gains its focus on the vernacular which it is expressed. In presenting community dialogue in poetry, Banet transforms everyday speech into a tool of cultural affirmation and anti-imperial critique. Number 2 themes. Migration and its impact. Louise Banet situates Caribbean migration to Britain within the broader history of empire, reframing it as a humorous inversion of colonial expansion. The speaker announces, "What a joyful news, Miss Matty, Jamaica people colonizing England in reverse," turning the mid-20th century movement of people into a symbolic reversal of conquest. This framing highlights not only the demographic and economic consequences of migration for both Britain and Jamaica, but also its cultural resonance as a reimagining of historical power relations. Let's move to the third theme of the poem, that is cultural identity and hybridization. The poem foregrounds the negotiation of cultural identity in a post-colonial context where migrants transport their heritage to the imperial center, such as "Them pour out of Jamaica, everybody future plan is we get a big-time job and settle in the motherland." This line reveals how migration entails aspirations of social mobility while simultaneously carrying the Jamaican language, traditions, and worldviews into Britain. This blending unsettles notion of cultural purity and underscores the emergence of hybrid identities shaped by movement across colonial borders. Number 4 themes is economic displacement and labor. Banet underscores the economic necessity driving migration in search of opportunity. She describes the scale vividly by the line, "By the hundred, by the thousand, from country and from town, by the shipload, by the plane load, Jamaica is England bound." The imagery of ships and plane captures the unprecedented flow of labor, which her remark that Jamaicans would box bread out a English people mouth satirically exposes anxieties in Britain about competition for jobs, highlighting the intersection of migration, class, and survival. Number 5 theme is reversal of power dynamics. At the heart of the poem is the comic inversion of colonial hierarchies where Jamaicans now colonize the former colonizer. Banet repeats the refrain, "Colonizing in reverse," as both a humorous and symbolic subversion of empire, suggesting that power relations are unsettled where movement flows back towards the metropole. The speaker's rhetorical irony in the line, "But me wondering how them going stand colonizing in reverse," questions Britain's ability to endure this symbolic reversal, reframing migration as a form of historical redress. Number 6 theme is diaspora and belonging. The poem portrays the Jamaican diaspora as a collective and energetic movement, captured in the refrain, "By the shipload, by the plane load, Jamaica is England bound." Migration is shown as a shared journey of ambition where seeking to get a big-time job, and settle in the motherland reflects both the pursuit of belonging in Britain and the retention of Jamaican identity, highlighting the quality of diasporic experience. Let's move to the literary devices. Louis Bennett in the poem Colonization in Reverse is not only thematically rich, but also packed with literary devices that enhance its humor, satire, and postcolonial critique. First is irony. In Colonization in Reverse, the poet presents life as deeply ironic and humorous by highlighting the reversal of roles between colonizer and colonized. Once, the English ruled Jamaica and extracted its wealth. Now, Jamaicans migrate to England, symbolically colonizing their former colonizer. Money that once flowed from Jamaica to England now moves back in the opposite direction, through wages or state benefits. Bennett reinforces this theme through her role to the reference to the dole, the unemployment benefit provided by the British government. In Jamaica, such a system was unknown. Employment meant hardship with no state support. But in England, those without jobs were entitled to regular assistance, which in those days could amount to £2 a week. For many Jamaicans, this benefit was almost as valuable as employment itself. Some migrants secured steady jobs that matched their skills, while others ironically found satisfaction in living on unemployment wages, paid by the very nation that once profited from their labor. In both cases, whether through work or welfare, England, the once mighty colonial power, is now sustaining Jamaicans within its own borders. This reversal underscores the key themes of the poem: migration, where Jamaicans seek opportunity in England; economic dependence, where Britain becomes the provider rather than the exploiter; and cultural pride, as Jamaicans assert their presence in the heart of empire. Through situational irony, Bennett shows the colonizer becoming the colonized, using humor and satire to critique colonial history and its aftermath. Second device is satire. In Colonization in Reverse, Louis Bennett covertly uses satire to critique both Britain, colonism, and post-colonial migration. Through exaggeration, humor, and reversal, she presents the mass movement of Jamaicans to Britain as a comic idea of colonization reverse. This witty inversion mocks the logic of empire, showing that the colonized are now, in a symbolic sense, colonizing their former rulers. The satirical force is sharp at the lines such as "What a devilment England, dem face war and brave the worse, but me wondering how dem going stand, colonizing in reverse." Where Bennett humorously suggests that Britain, though able to endure war, might struggle to cope with Jamaican migrants. In doing so, she ridicules colonial pride, highlights Jamaican resilience, and exposes the contradictions of empire, turning migration into an act of symbolic resistance. By using satire in this way, Bennett makes a serious political critique accessible through laughter, transforming humor into a tool of empowerment and cultural defiance. Number third literary device is use of vernacular. In Colonization in Reverse, Louis' use of Jamaican patois acts as a powerful literary device that expresses both cultural pride and political resistance. By writing in the everyday speech of Jamaicans instead of standard English, she legitimizes local identity, resists imperial dominance, and culture the humor and rhythms of oral tradition. The conversational tone makes the poem authentic and accessible while reinforcing its anti-imperial message. Number fourth literary device is imagery. In Colonization in Reverse, the poet employs vivid imagery to emphasize both the humor and the historical weight of Jamaican migration to Britain. She describes Jamaican living by the line, "by the hundred, by the thousand," creating a striking picture of mass departure that recalls the scale of colonial era shipping, but now with roles reversed. Similarly, in the lines "just a pack, dem bag and baggage," and "turn history upside down," the image of families hurriedly packing and traveling together captures both the comic energy of the movement and the deeper symbolism of rewriting colonial history. Through such imagery, Bennett reinforces the poem's ironic and satirical vision of reverse colonization. Number fifth theme, literary devices, is symbolism. Migration symbolizes a reversal of empire itself. The journey to Britain is not just physical but emblematic of reclaiming space, opportunity, and dignity previously reclaimed under colonial rule. Number six device is rhetorical question. The closing lines of the poem, "But me wondering how them gwine stand colonizing in reverse," functions as a rhetorical question that leaves the irony hanging. It invites reader to reflect on Britain's ability to confront the consequences of its imperial project. In short, Bennett's use of irony, satire, patois, repetition, imagery, and rhetorical questioning turns the poem into both a humorous performance and a sharp post-colonial critique. After all this, now let's move to the conclusion of this poem. Louis Bennett's poem, Colonization in Reverse, offers a witty yet profound reimagining of Caribbean migration as both a historical inversion of empire and an assertion of cultural identity. Through the interplay of Jamaican patois, irony, and satire, Bennett transformed the act of migration into a symbolic form of resistance against British imperialism, while foregrounding themes of labor, diaspora, and hybridity. The poem resists colonial authority not only in content, but also in form, legitimizing vernacular expression as a vehicle of cultural pride and political critique. Ultimately, Bennett's work demonstrates how humor and everyday language can articulate a serious post-colonial vision, one in which the formerly colonized reclaim space, voice, and agency within the very heart of the empire. That's all for today. Thank you for staying engaged, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts on this master poem by Louis Bennett, Colonization in Reverse, in our discussion forum. Thank you so much, and Allah Hafiz.